My parents were always gone out of the house or arguing or passed out. I never would have wished this on anyone, never even my worst enemy.
I cried for like the first 3 nights. I couldn't go to sleep. It was very difficult at night. Felt like I was responsible, like I did something wrong.
Both my parents were heavily addicted to drugs, and that led to domestic violence. I felt like I was alone in the world. Everyone around me had these happy lives and these happy families.
I became victim of what is known as commercial sexual exploitation of children. I have tried to commit suicide. If you think about it, you can blame me for trying.
I was 3 years old when I first entered into foster care. I was actually happy that I was in the foster care system because for the first time I had a dependable meal, I had my own bed. After returning home, I re-entered the foster care at the age of 8. There was a lot of neglect of me and my 7 siblings. The cops came to our house, they ripped us apart, we're all crying, we're screaming. It was very traumatic. While in foster care, I went home several times. They would get clean, they would get a place, I would move in, and then my parents would have domestic disputes or they would relapse on drugs. I truly believe that had Donna not came into my life, it was such a pivotal time in my life. I was really depressed, I was really suicidal. I actually was contemplating suicide at that time. Had she not came into my life, I could have not been here. To this day, I get emotional about it. When I sit down and I truly think about how big of an impact Donna has had on my life and how much she has improved my self-worth, and knowing that when something happens, she is the first person that I can call, that is just an amazing feeling that I can't explain. Currently, I'm a mental health worker at San Francisco Academy. I think that the fact that I'm a former foster youth does have a huge impact, because I'm not just saying I get it, I'm saying I've been there. The children in foster care are all of our children, I believe, and I want to inspire those who maybe have lost that light inside. I think CASAs are amazing. They are the heroes of the foster care system. I feel like I have purpose in my life. I feel like I have worth. I am just incredibly, internally grateful to Voices for Children and Donna for that.
So when I was 9, I was separated from my mother because she was suffering from a drug addiction. I felt kind of sad, like my mother would kind of isolate me from other children. I never thought I had it bad because I didn't really realize what it was like to be in a normal setting. The hardest part is that when growing up in the system and when you compare your life with other children who aren't in the system and you see that there are certain opportunities they have that you don't, and that there's nothing you've done to make that difference. It's just a luck of the draw. I never really stayed in the same school for more than 1 to 2 years, so I had to remake my friends every time. Growing up, I played baseball as well, but when you transition and those opportunities aren't always available, that can really hurt. My CASA, her name is Kathleen. She's smart. She was a librarian, so she's like a bookworm. She's knowledgeable. And I didn't really know what to expect of her. A lot of people passed and go in my life, so I didn't know. I thought she'd be leaving eventually too. I didn't expect her to stay, to be someone significant. When you receive a CASA, there's more to it than just like the legal paperwork. You acquire a friend. It's like someone who cares about you, another family member. but CASAs don't receive a paycheck. So having someone to speak with who genuinely cares in that way, like someone who's not being paid, can make a big difference. Just having someone to talk to, it's like small, but it means a lot to me. I'm currently attending Maricosta Community College, and I'm working towards transferring to a four-year university. I'm planning right now to try for UC Berkeley. UCLA would be nice too. They have great computer science programs. Being in the system, it's been hard. I've had a difficult upbringing, but now I can use that to better myself. Now I've developed resilience. I can overcome the obstacles that come my way now.
My parents were addicted to drugs. They were always fighting constantly, and I think they used the drugs as a way to escape the pain. My sister was only 6, so I always knew I had a role to help take care of her. Mostly I just fed her because that was what I knew how to do the best. You know, in a sense, I feel as if I didn't even get a childhood. My CASA has always been a consistent adult in my life. Every time I call her, she always answers the phone. Her name's Carol. She really fought for me and my sister staying together. She's helped me find housing for us and really advocated for what type of home we needed. I love her honesty with me and always trying to give me both sides of the story. My CASA has helped me, especially with tutoring. She's advocated for me in court for the things I needed or felt weren't right. And I don't think I would have been able to do that on my own. You know, I've gone through things and I think about things I don't ever want to think about. And it's made me envious of my peers at times because they have baby photos of themselves and I don't. And in a way, I see it as a blessing because I wouldn't have the family I have. I wouldn't have the support I have. I probably wouldn't be going to the college of my dreams. So I'm really happy.
I was born in Honduras. My father became very abusive, and due to the abuse, I have 57 scars on my body that until this day I can tell you a story about them. I decided to come to the US. 35 days from Honduras to the US. I was one of those kids that rode the train, who did everything I had to do, beg for money, beg for food. In San Diego, I found my godmother. She was not a good person. I quickly became her business. Yes, I became victim of what is known as commercial sexual exploitation of children. And for 6 long months, she held me in that room. After 6 months, I was rescued and placed in foster care. By the time I was picked up, I had been harming myself and I have tried to commit suicide. My CASA's name is Marcos. It was amazing how, a connection was made simply because he spoke the language I understood the most. Against the social worker, he went in court and said, Suamir needs clothing, Suamir needs this. And he was able to advocate for me. That was the first time in foster care that someone stood up in court and said, he needs this. I was more than just a report, a piece of paper in a courtroom to him. I was a young person who really needed support, who really needed understanding, and I also pushed him away so many times. I can tell you, he would try to reach, and I text him back like, never call me again. He would come knock on my door, bring me a hamburger, it's like, hey, I'm here, and that was important. That was really important because, he and Voices for Children were the people who stayed with me the most, and my CASA became that father figure I never actually had. I am 25 years old now. I am a behavioral health specialist. I work with youth who are struggling to pursue our education. I have done it in my life, and I cannot, and I lost a lot of things on this whole process, but I can tell you that I haven't lost my CASA yet. You know, I haven't lost people, people who really care for me, and he has been there since the beginning. I'd like to think that whoever's watching this video is going to perhaps take what we're all saying here and take even further. You know, advocate for CASAs, advocate for funding, advocate for becoming a foster parent, become a CASA yourself.